My name's Sally and I'm married to Tim, and we're both retired now. He was a retired agricultural engineer and I'm a retired vicar. Some people choose to be alone because they like to be alone and they want to do their own thing and take their dog out and do all those things, and they choose that. But loneliness is a very different thing. It's deeply within the mind, and it's just this feeling that there is nobody, and the feeling that if something happened, and that's a fear, nobody would know and nobody would care. Community is just a bunch of people, and they're all very different. I mean, we tend to talk about the this community and the that community as if you were going to get everyone who live, all getting together and being the same. They're not. Community is those people that are in an area, in my mind, and it's very interactive. And if you look back hundreds of years to a village community, they all knew each other's worth. Particularly if you get older and you aren't able to drive, because bear in mind, pretty well everyone out in the country has some sort of vehicle. And if it comes to that you can't, then it is very difficult, because public transport has got less and less and less, and that means that on a dark night you don't want to risk going out. And if you're then on your own, say your partner dies, then there's the great feeling of people get withdrawn into themselves. I think it's partly that there's nothing to go out for and nowhere to go because there isn't a shop, or there isn't a pub, or there isn't a centre of any sort. And so people remain in, and there's nobody to talk to. And the feeling is that nobody is interested in you at all, and you're of no worth at all, and the whole thing begins to close in. People may have been uprooted. I mean, one or two people I can think of had moved down here to be near to family, which is lovely, but they left behind all their friends. And everyone says, oh, so-and-so's all right because she's near her family, so they don't sort of interfere. And it was one lady, it wasn't until she burst into tears at the Royal Coffee Caravan that everybody realised. People used to meet at the village shop. It had the same thing as the old parish pump in days of yore. They used to meet at the village shop and talk about all sorts of things. Now, we have a very excellent village shop, and when I was in ministry, on 2 or 3 occasions, I know they saved somebody's life, because they'd say to me when I went in, so-and-so hasn't been in for 2 or 3 days, do you think he's all right? And we'd go and find out that he wasn't. And that is a great service that a shop offers, that is more than just being somewhere where you go and buy a can of beans. I think it is important that people have the opportunity to meet in this kind of neutral setting and share, and not be afraid to ask people for help. The Rural Coffee Caravan arose out of an idea I had one day and suggested to another group, which was then called Farm Crisis Network, now Farming Community Network. And I said to them, I had this idea that we ought to be doing something about local isolation, because I'm on the phone helpline. So much had come of how many people are very isolated. And so they said, oh, good idea, let's do it. Everyone is invited, because we have someone in each village we go to who takes around a little card which gives all the dates, and they can stick it on their fridge and it's there. But one of the great things it does is just get people together, and they don't have to pay, and they don't have to be a member, and they don't have to be anything. They can just poodle in, and if they don't like it, then go away again. One of the most important things it does is it gets people talking to other people. And it's not always the huge thing that makes a difference. It can be something quite small. The core of the project is going out there and being there for people to talk to other people when they might be and perhaps to be able to help them set up something of their own that's equally non-threatening.